All right, Weston, I think we're good to go.
Welcome, everybody, to MS Office Hours. It is Thursday, January 11th, 2024. Let me please introduce our hosts.
Hello, everybody. My name is Heather Cox.
Hey, I'm Garrett Chandler.
And I'm Andrea Sangrio.
We're very happy to have our friend Carlos, who just turned his camera off. Carlos is going to be presenting for us today. And really, right before this call, we've all been thinking a lot about Copilot here. And Carlos, I'm super pumped because he showed me some of the things he wants to talk about. But Weston and I were talking, and I was even saying, gosh, I'm struggling with getting myself to even just regularly use Copilot. And Weston's analogy kind of made me think of my own time as a very limited member of a gym where, you go into the gym and there's all this new equipment and there's all these things around you and you're just not sure how to use them. So you stick with what you know. And for me, that was I would jump on the treadmill and that's all I would do. And I would stay there. And it was like, what am I doing paying for this membership? Because I never figured out how to use all these other tools. Well, the one thing that I love is Carlos is going to give us some fun ways that, yes, can be applied for work. But I told him, I said, this group is a fun group. And so, Carlos, you better have some fun as you showcase how to make this Copilot thing really stick. So, Carlos, I'm going to turn my camera and mic off, and the show belongs to you, buddy.
All right. So thanks, Heather. I would tell you I wasn't quite ready for this kind of call. This is should be super interesting. We are going to talk about Copilot. I'm going to try to demo as much as I humanly can, but I'm also going to explain a ton of things over here, have some fun with it, but also explain what it is, and just in case there's somebody out there that's just a little bit confused. So let me share my screen, and I'm going to start off with our wonderful naming changes. The thing called Copilot, or now formerly known as BCE, we now call Copilot. If we want to talk about the correct name or the proper name, it's Copilot with commercial data protection. And the first thing let me share this real quick. It looks like it's trying to share. There we go. So the first thing that I want to kind of just talk about is like, how do you get here, right? And I want to just be like super clear when we're talking about Copilot. This is like, we talk about moments, right? We talk about AI. We talk about this is not a product. I really don't see this as a product. I see this as a way of work. We all had like these crazy moments in our lives, right? That moment that you're like, wow, everything just changed, right? It could have been, tied to the first time that you were on the web. It could have been the first time that maybe you were dealing with social media, whatever it might be, right? You're like, wow, my way of work truly changed once we launched Copilot and I saw what was out there. So the first way to access this is through going to copilot.microsoft.com. Once we go to copilot.microsoft.com, the first thing that we want everybody to do is log in, right? Use your Entra ID or Azure ID. Make sure that you log in using your corporate credentials, and you want that green pill. Once you're inside of that green pill, you know that you see Copilot with commercial data protection. This means that it's nice. It's in the walled garden right of your tenant. It's nice and safe. Once you go and you query, nobody's learning from this. No open large language models learning from this, and everything kind of just blows away. So what I wanted to show is like how to use this. How do I use this for work? But then it's not just work. Like the power of AI, like I use this for absolutely everything. So there's something that Dwayne said earlier in the meeting that kind of struck a chord. He's like, we're all coming back from break. And I got to tell you, I have heard that way too many times. So I'm going to go and I'm going to look over here into Copilot, and I'm going to ask it anything. And I'm going to just type something real quick. I'm going to paste some things over here. I'm going to say, let's just have some fun, right? Create me 5 hilariously funny tweets, because Heather told me to be funny, which is really hard now that she put too much pressure on me, about how people are struggling to get back into the work mindset after winter break. So let's kind of see what goes on over here. And I know that a lot of you were looking at my shirt, and you're either a fan, you're not a fan. That's okay. I'm a proud alumni of Florida State University. And I'm going to kind of use them maybe as a little bit of an example over here. So this looks great. I've got over here some tweets that are being generated. 5 tweets that might make you laugh. Let's see if anything kind of stands out over here. I'm pretty sure my brain is still on vacation mode. I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out why my coffee cup wasn't charging. You know, AI, not the best comedian over here, but I want you to think of this from a social perspective. A lot of us are on socials, right? We're on either on Facebook or on Instagram, on Twitter, a lot of us. Or a lot of us deal with this of communication, right? Even in my job, I'm constantly having to tweet things out or share something out with the masses. We were just talking about our good friend Mike Dolson, who shared something out, the latest information around Copilot through a tweet. So this is a great way to kind of go and create content. Now I'm going to type in something a little bit different. Let's see. I'm going to say now associate those tweets with Florida State University. So I'm pretending to be someone from Florida State University, and it automatically recognizes, right, that I can go in there and just associate those tweets with, the work from home hashtag or hashtag FSU, right, or Monday Blues. You see some really, really cool things. I love the fact that it's also adding some emojis. Now, I start off here before I go into M365 Copilot, which is the next thing that I'm going to kind of demo and talk about. The reason I start off here is because this is something that, pretty much all of our EDU customers have, right? If you have the A1, A3, A5 license, you have access to this. And I wanted to just make sure everybody knows this because this is huge. I know that there's other resources out there that you can take advantage of from an AI perspective, but a lot of these cost, $20, or you have a lot of educators that are going out there and spending their own personal money to go and get like some cool app that has something. And I want to make sure that you guys kind of just know that this is out there. And of course, you can go and make this personal. So let's kind of make this a little bit personal. And one of the questions that I get asked a ton is like Carlos, I'm playing with this and I'm not getting what I want. I'm pretty clear. I was like, well, you need to work on your prompting, right? And there's this concept of prompt engineering and things like that. So I'm going to tell you what I have the most amount of fun with, and it's prompting. So Copilot overall, I'm going to use Copilot as an overall term. It's meant to be your digital kind of assistant. It's meant. I don't want to say like a secretary, but it's kind of meant to be that person who is going to be there and knows all the answers and can help you any way, shape, or form. So I need help all the time when it comes to prompting. And my trick for prompting is I go straight to my morning trip to one of my favorite places, Starbucks. The coffee, it is what it is, right? But I get sent to Starbucks not because I need a coffee, but because I have a 14-year-old daughter that likes coffee in the morning, and I've got my wife who is all of a sudden saying, hey, you're going to Starbucks, get me a drink too. I want you guys to think about prompting like you're ordering a Starbucks drink, and I want you to not be me. I want you to be my 14-year-old daughter. So when she goes and she orders, she goes, I want a toasted marshmallow cold brew venti sweet cream. Make sure you have cold foam, once again cold brew, don't mess it up, with only 2 pumps of vanilla, 2 pumps of coffee, no, to make it 3 pumps of espresso coffee, 4 pumps of toasted white mocha sauce, and additional pumps in the cold foam. Mix it in really good. Don't put too much ice. You know what? Never mind. I don't want a venti. Let's change it to a grande. Stir it up once you're done and add caramel drizzle on it. I never get that wrong, right? That's how she goes and she orders Starbucks in the morning. Fine. That's how I want you to talk to Copilot when you're prompting. A lot of people think, oh, I need to have a certain format. It'll come. The format will come. But you want to talk to Copilot like with as much detail on what you're trying to accomplish, with the different type of personality, the different type of person, put some parameters around this. These are the types of things that you want, because you only get one shot at Starbucks, right? And I tell my daughter, I was like, if you don't write this out for me, I'm gonna get it wrong, right? And she leaves room for no error. And that's the way that you really want to take a look at things when you're prompting. So I'm going to give you a couple of different examples. We talked about M365 Copilot, M365 Copilot is absolutely amazing. This is the next thing. This is what we're using already, obviously, within Microsoft. The way that we use this is absolutely incredible. And I'm going to start off with, in pure honesty, an application that I actually didn't use that much before. I'm a huge fan of OneNote. I love OneNote. And for some reason, like once I was introduced to OneNote, I stopped using this other product, which is Microsoft Word. So let me kind of minimize this over here and bring it over so you can see it. Perfect. So this is Microsoft Word. Nothing wrong with Microsoft Word. It is absolutely incredible. And it wasn't until Copilot that it just brought me back. And now like I'm using it all the time. I forgot how cool Word can be, what I can do from a prompting perspective, what I can do from a formatting perspective. It's definitely pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to flip all over the place. So be ready. Here we go. From a Copilot perspective, I will tell you, I want to use this for my personal use. Constantly talking about new IT policies, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a quick prompt over here, and we're going to have some fun with it. Heather told me to have fun. Create me a new IT policy document featuring different features in M365. I'm going to associate this with A5 licensing, but make the policy sound like I'm ordering a Starbucks drink. I'm not saying this would be my official policy document, but I will send this out to a couple of friends. A couple of things that it's going to go and it's going to generate. Once again, I tried to be as specific as possible, but I'm going to send this to a couple of friends because I need to know if they are reading, some of my documentation that I think it's interesting. So here we have Word. I was using Draft with Copilot inside of Microsoft Word, and it's giving me, here's my IT policy documents for M365 A5 licensing. Awesome, nice little introduction. It's keeping it great. And I'm going to kind of zoom in just a little bit over here. I want you to see some of this. This is kind of neat. Whether you prefer a hot or cold drink, a latte or a frappuccino, a classic or a seasonal. So you see that it's adding some interesting things over here inside of inside of this document. I'm just kind of looking at this, and even from a conclusion perspective, think of Microsoft 365 A5 as your favorite Starbucks drink, and then follow the rules and guidelines that make it a smooth and satisfying experience. I love this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit keep it, but let's pretend that I don't want to keep it. There's a couple of things I want you guys to know from a tips and tricks perspective. So you can always, let's pretend that you love this and you're like, what was that prompt? That was awesome. You could always go back to that prompt and see exactly what was said, and right in there you can go and you can copy that. I could hit cancel and it's going to take me back to where I was. If I want to just regenerate the whole thing, I'll regenerate the whole thing or start from scratch. I can do that. But you can also change the tone, or you can add something. Like maybe all of a sudden I see this and I was like, oh, I forgot to add something about MFA, or I forgot to add something about some really, really cool M365 Copilot and how that is tied to our IT security policies. So you can go in there and just easily add it. But for this one, I love it. I'm going to hit keep. I'm going to go into another one. Now, once again, I'm showing you it's not all about work. Sometimes I have a different boss. My main boss, there's one that I make money on, and then there's one that takes my money. I'm referring to the one that takes my money. So my boss is my lovely wife. And I will tell you, sometimes I need to convince her. So I'm gonna create a presentation, and I'm gonna go inside of PowerPoint. And I do this all the time. I think she finds it funny, and because she finds it funny, I win and I get to go where I want. So my wife has a little bit of expensive taste, and I'm just, I'm just a normal guy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a presentation. I'm going to go straight into Copilot. Notice how I haven't created anything there. And I'm going to type in a nice little prompt in here, and it's going to say, create a presentation that shows how eating at Chipotle as a family not only saves us money, but it allows us to have a great time and not be stuck in a fancy, expensive restaurant. I'm telling it, hey, here's what I want. Just create me a presentation, and then I'm going to say the audience, because that's really, really important. Sometimes when you're writing inside of Copilot, you want it to say, who's this audience for? My audience is my wife. So I'm going to give it just a little bit of time over here. It's working on a response. It's trying to understand everything. It's grabbing some great information. Now, it's going to look at a couple of different sources. The first source that it's going to leverage is the Microsoft Graph. I'm pretty sure there's no information on Chipotle and my wife in the Microsoft Graph. God, I hope there's nothing in there around that. And then there's the large language model, and it's kind of looking on the internet and it's grabbing some nice little information. And it's going to create some really, really cool slides. So let's take a peek. I actually have a dog that looks very similar to this one, but it's a Fox Red Lab. So that might actually hit home. Why eating at Chipotle is a great family experience. Now, there's a couple of things I'm going to change. First of all, last time I checked, Chipotle doesn't have that have hamburgers, right? So I know I'm definitely going to want to change that first slide. But I love the way that it creates some content in here. It says save some money, affordable restaurants, big family on a budget. We are a family of 5. And then we have a kid. So I'm going to probably modify this and change this to a picture of my youngest daughter, even though my youngest daughter is about the same age. Talks about the atmosphere. So what I love about this is that it helps me with the creative process, right? Now we can talk about work. A lot of times we can go and we can create a presentation, somebody, our boss, or we have a school board presentation, we have a presentation to the university president or the cabinet, and we have to go and say, hey, I need to present, I need to create a presentation based off of this information. It could be those IT security policies, it could be anything. So I'm gonna show you one more thing over here. I'm gonna actually start from scratch. Let's go into a nice little new document, go into Copilot, and just because of time, I'm gonna kind of cut it off, but I just want you to see what's possible in here. I'm gonna say create a presentation around M365. I was like, oh, I don't really know what to do. So what if there was a document already? And this is the awesomeness of M365 Copilot, the ability to kind of go and leverage the graph, right? So these are all documents that are associated with me, that have been shared with me or created by me. And I'm going to just start typing M365, or maybe I want to start typing A5. Oh, there you go, A5 deployment. There's an A5 deployment. So create a presentation based off of this A5 deployment, or maybe I want to go and create a presentation based off of Copilot. Clearly, I don't have that many documents in here, but whatever it is, I can go, oh, Microsoft security policy. Let's pick that one. I'm going to go and hit create. And I sometimes you want to get super specific in those prompts, and sometimes you don't. So just one of the great examples of how much time I save. I will tell you, if I'm creating a presentation around Microsoft security policies, that's going to take a long time. I get it. I've been using PowerPoint for a very long time. I could probably do this in 5 minutes, right? But maybe somebody else is going to take them 45 minutes. It's going to take them 2 hours. Then they have to look through all the policies and figure out what they're going to want to do. Guys, this is all about getting time back. So let's have some fun while this is loading. I'm going to pull something else up over here. I'm going to go to my Excel sheet. I'm still drafting that presentation. I clearly picked the document that is a little bit big. I'll kind of let that work in the background. And I will tell you kind of a super great tip and trick. I would tell you, when you're allowing Copilot to work, you should probably let it finish, because when you start shifting between different applications, it thinks that you're done, and sometimes it just kind of cuts off. So we might see that just because of time. I'm going to kind of shift over here, but it's still kind of drafting that presentation. Once again, the shorter the document, the quicker it can go and create this. All right, this is fake data, so I don't want anybody to freak out. This is not like real names of people. These are not real hire dates. These are not real, they are real cities, but they're not, these are not, you have different job titles. And I love using this example because this is a very real moment. What we love about M365 Copilot is the security side of it, right? And here I have some annual salaries, and this is a pretty big document. I'm scrolling. I mean, this thing just keeps on going. So I just need to get some information about my company. I might be an HR representative, it might be whatever, or maybe, you know what, I just, for personal reasons, I want to go and I want to say, hey, I am looking to change to a different department. I purposely misspelled department there because that's the beauty of natural language. It will still understand exactly what I'm doing. And then let's see, what else can I ask it? What are the top 5 job titles that make the most amount of money because my wife does not want to eat at Chipotle. All right, so let's see what happens. What I'm trying to show you here is Copilot is awesome because, depending on the size and the data and what that looks like, but you can start querying different types of, solutions or questions. You want these questions to come out, I don't have time to go and analyze this. And listen, some of us are Excel experts. I totally get it, but even not everybody knows how to create a pivot chart, or not everybody wants to, knows how to create a special type of graph based off of the data. So in this case, what I love about Copilot is the fact that it can tell me what to do, right? Or it can show me how to do it, or I could just ask it random questions about that data. Now, I want to also just keep in mind, I did this with a pretty big Excel sheet. It's got, I don't know, just a ton of rows over here. I'm scrolling all the way back up. It's almost there. It's looking at all of the data, all of the annual salaries is what it's probably doing, and then analyzing the job titles. And of course, you're going to want to make sure that you have absolutely great internet, and then it should go and give me the example. And then but in the meantime, I'm gonna start thinking of like, hey, what else do I want to ask it? Like, I remember that I did try this one once, and I think it was like the VP obviously was the highest. And somebody's gonna say, well, you could just kind of filter through this. I could, but what if I can have it create questions kind of ahead of time? Or sometimes, and this is taking just a little bit long, so I'm probably going to just stop generating this one real quick over here. But what if I could just tell Copilot, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I want to just get data, right? So I'm just going to have it analyze information. It says, sure, I can analyze the information for you. And it's going to say, hey, I've got the average annual salary, how many different what does it look like from a gender perspective? What are maybe sorted by job title and averages? I actually want the average annual salary because that's something interesting. And it says excluding China, right? So I want you to notice how it added something in there. The fact that I could have said, I want the average annual salary for, and then actually pick a country, exclude these 5 countries. Maybe I'm focused on the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe I'm focused on Europe, right? So these are all different things that you can do inside of Excel. I thought about it, and I wasn't going to do a personal budgeting. I think everybody has at one point in their life done some type of budget with Excel, but I think that's also something else that you can do. So while that kind of goes and keeps on working in the back end, just because of time, I'm sorry, I've got like 1 minute, 2 minutes. I've got to show you 1 or 2 more things that I absolutely love. Okay, so I'm going to go straight to chat, and I'm going to show you something inside of Outlook over here. Okay, here we go. This is M365 chat. I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier on the call. And inside of M365 chat, what I can do over here is I can just go and ask it questions. I know that my good friend Renata Ruiz is on here. So I'm going to say, who is Renata Ruiz? Right? And this is absolutely neat because it's going to go and start showing me, hey, oh, of course, I've hit the limit of the number of requests per hour. Guys, I've been using Copilot a little bit too much over here, so I'm going to kind of flip that one over. This is what happens when you're a super user. You're a super user. Heather, I know you're laughing at me.
I'm laughing because Renata
Yes.
Renata is answering on behalf of Copilot in the chat. Renata
Oh.
Ruiz is a ray of sunshine. I mean,
I can't see it. So I was gonna tell you one of the things that I did. I because I was kind of prepping this demo, and I was saying, hey, who is Renata Ruiz? And then I started asking it, when is Renata's birthday? And it went back and it told me I don't know when Renata's birthday is. And I responded back to Copilot and I said, well, it's December 30th, and I think you should know this. Please make a note. And it went back and says, I just made a note. Renata Ruiz's birthday is December 30th. Like, it literally gave me that information. I thought this was absolutely awesome. Okay, I'm going to show you one last thing over here. Since the demo gods are not in my favor today, I clearly offended them, and it was probably because I didn't wear my Marge vote for Marge president shirt. And I am so sorry, Marge. I have it. I was traveling and it didn't come out. It didn't make it into my my suitcase. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys just my email real quick. So I'm being super careful because this is my live email. In the meantime, I'm closing out some of these windows that I have. I have way too many windows going open.
While he's closing the windows, I know that we're at time, which didn't allow for some questions. So the one thing while he's getting that prep, the one thing I want to let y'all know is that we are in the background. We are trying to plan a series of Copilot stuff, especially that addresses the questions around licensing and all the bits and pieces about it. Like we're giving you some of here's the capabilities, but don't worry, we know this crowd also wants to know that stuff. So don't worry, we have that in mind. We are planning a series to make the most of it for everyone. Sorry, Carlos, go.
Yep, and I appreciate it. So I just want to show you two quick features over here. The draft with Copilot. Once again, this is huge, right? So sometimes Heather, you might have seen this once or twice. Heather is my good friend. I think Renata has also seen this as well, where you're just having bad days. We all have great days. Sometimes we have bad days as well, and you're just hot. Like something came through, and you're like, oh man, what should I do? So I'm gonna kind of go over here, and I'm gonna go into draft with Copilot, and I'm gonna say, I think that is a ridiculous idea. I can't believe we are wasting time talking about this. We should probably leave now. I am furious. And I'm trying to not be too mean over here, but listen, these are things that sometimes that's what I want to say. I want to say, create an email to Heather Cox.
Do it.
Stating the following. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to have it generate a couple different things.
No, but you got to make sure you're telling it to be nice to me in it. You got to like rephrase that sucker.
All right. So create a nicer email
to tell Heather that I cannot stand her and she should stop teasing me about not wearing my shirt.
And also let her know that Renata has replaced her. So Copilot's working on it here. I know. This is the
demo gods. It is. Carlos, I think that's what happened. So
I'm gonna cut my losses.
So what we'll do is we will wrap up with Carlos for today. As I mentioned with previously, we have been in the background talking all about a series for you. Yes, we are aware, like I said, of pricing, the licensing, all the pieces of parts, what's included here and there. What I'd also love if you all want to do this, but they see, Copilot just doesn't want to talk shit about me, Carlos. That's what it is. Copilot's at happy hour. See, this is why I love y'all. But what we'd love for you to add is, in addition to those pieces, because we know those are the things that you've already told us about, we would love for you to give us some other, like, what else do you kind of want to know? What do you want to see? Because that was one of the things to me, prompts, that was a blocker for me. Like I did not even know, well, what do I even ask it, or how do I want to frame it, and how do I want to make this work for me? Because to add on to what we were saying about the gym and the working it out, it's a muscle you have to work. It is a skill you have to gain. And it's going to take that work on the front end to gain that muscle and to gain that skill, but then the payoff is going to be greater. So we are definitely going to circle back because we know that this is top of mind and we want to make it useful for you. So feel free to drop all of those different things in there. We will, like I said, we'll have some more sessions on this. But as always, we appreciate the fact that you come. We appreciate the fact that you have fun with us, that you ask us real questions, and that you're real people. And as always, we love this group, as you can tell by the fact that we spent time making t-shirts for Marge, because y'all mean a lot to us. You really, really do. And
This is how much I wore a shirt that has 0 purple and had to wear
now
a
there you
cardigan.
go, because that's true. I don't know the last time I've seen Andrea without a purple shirt or a purple jacket or purple hat or something. So thank you again for all of your time. I'll stop the recording and kick y'all out. Yes, I will. I did link Marge's specific page, but I will drop the new link again to purchase your merch. Oh, and just so you know, we don't take a profit on any merch. Those of you that are new, it only lets me set the price as low as humanly possible, but like they keep coming back and they're like, you need to make a profit. And we're like, we don't want to make a profit. So at the times that it has a profit, we let the community decide what charity we donate to, and we donate it. We pick from the community. Y'all give us suggestions, and then we donate it through our portal, because our portal lets us double those donations. So yeah, if you do go to this store, please know we don't take a dang cent from it. We don't want it. We don't need it. It's about the community and how can we give back. So I will drop that link. I'll get the recording posted as soon as Steve Lane Car Fund. I will get the recording posted, because I have to sit in front of the computer because I've got another class tonight, y'all. Get excited for me. No, not really. But thank you, everyone, and we'll see y'all next week. Oh, I got it. Wait, stuff's blocking my screen to end it. There we go. Bye, y'all.